Hello, everybody. Welcome to Archana in HR podcast, where we dive into insightful conversations about career growth, professional success, and personal transformation. Today, we are talking about something that hits home for so many navigating career transitions as a newcomer to Canada. Whether you are just arriving or have been struggling to break into the market, this episode is packed with valuable insights to help you thrive. And to guide us through this conversation, I have with me an incredible guest, Renata Hammond. Renata is a leadership and career coach, an HR expert, and someone who has helped countless professionals find success in their careers. Welcome, Renata.
Thank you so much. It is so good to be here. Thank you, Archana.
That's wonderful. So, Renata, let's start with your story. You have a very rich background in HR and leadership coaching as well. So, can you tell us a little bit about your journey and what inspired you to get into this field?
I want to smile and say it was a bit of a fluke in the beginning. I applied for a position quite a few years ago with the federal government in Canada, and at that time they had lists, and I placed fourth on the list. So I wasn't even first or second. And so I was disappointed. It was an HR position in compensation and benefits. And I did call them back every once in a while, every few months. And surprisingly, all the other three people, they either didn't accept it or they took the job and then left to go somewhere else. And so after 6 months, I was appointed to that job. And I served in compensation and benefits for about 6 years and found that I really loved it. I loved working with people and especially providing some advice and guidance on their when they wanted to go on leave, whether it was maternity leave or they were retiring or they were going on sick leave and they were concerned and a bit frightened about what the future held. I
Mhm.
really enjoyed that part of it. And then as time went on, I gained in HR expertise and became an HR manager and executive HR manager, and then eventually started my own HR consulting and leadership coaching as well. I love human resources because it's human and we help each other to have the best work life possible, and that to me that is very meaningful and is a great benefit to ourselves, to our employees, and even to the wider community.
Oh, that's wonderful to know your thoughts and compensation and benefits. I think is a wonderful stream to work in as an HR professional. So personally, I have not never got a chance to work in that area, but I will look forward to very soon.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Moving to my next question. In your experience working with newcomers, what do you think is the biggest mistake people make when job searching in Canada? And more importantly, and how can they avoid it?
From a perspective of being a newcomer to Canada, I've worked with our college here quite a bit over the last number of years because I was a student there as a mature student, and then I went on with the Chartered Professionals in Human Resources, or CPHR, to help student members who are in the HR program and even in other programs as well to be able to get established in the Canadian market. And so what I noticed was the people who came and actively asked for help did better than those who were more shy or more not quite willing to ask questions, not quite willing to find out. And so I want to say that can be a mistake. Go and find mentors, go and find people who are willing to help. And in Canada, my experience with CPHR is that most people are willing to help mentor or give ideas as to
Mhm.
where to go for a better job or to find a job or to find the answers that the person is looking for. Did that answer your question?
Oh, definitely, yes. I mean, that's so interesting because even in my personal experience, CPHR community has been wonderful to network with different people with different experiences, and yeah, it's been a wonderful experience for me as well. So now let's talk about the same about networking, which can actually feel a little like a huge challenge for a lot of them, especially moving to a new country. So, what if a newcomer arrived in Canada today with no connections? And what are the first three things you would possibly recommend them to start building their network?
Yes. And I appreciate you speaking about starting to build a network because it will help so much. There are all kinds of small and big changes coming to a new country, right? One of the ladies that I'm mentoring has said, kind of in her background, is she kind of, it's important to do it herself and to kind of figure it out herself, and it's not really okay to ask questions. So I
Mhm.
really want to suggest throw that idea out the window and ask as many questions. Go and find people who are credible and who can provide guidance. So if someone is a student, then go and talk to their academic advisors. If someone is interested in going into the HR field or is currently in the HR field, go connect with CPHR. For an example, if someone wants to become an accountant, go and check out the CPAs or the chartered
Yeah,
professionals in accounting, their particular designation. So that one, and also any type of multicultural societies that are in that community, to be able to get information. How do we do things around here? What are what are, how do you get information? How do you get access? And even actually in Canada, the library, the public library, is a great source of information as well. They run all kinds of amazing programs. So going in there to ask as well. So many people, like I say, who want to help. They want to see newcomers do very well. And so they will share all the resources they can think of. Certainly in the provincial and federal government offices, also, there are some assistance
okay.
for newcomers to learn more fully about how to integrate, where to job search, those types of things.
Oh, okay, that's quite interesting. So, have you had any personal experiences coaching a newcomer in a very recent past?
Yes. And I feel very blessed to do that. And I'll give the little background. My mom came, so my mom was an immigrant,
Okay.
and my brother was born overseas. And I was born here in Canada. I wish that my mom would have had more resources, would have had more of these services to be able to connect in well. And so the persons that I have coached, I would say that on average, they're they're successful twice as quickly, or they get their jobs or promotions twice as fast as if they don't get help, don't get coaching help, don't get mentorship help. It really puts them on a much higher trajectory much more quickly. And I've seen that in my clients, and it's been delightful to see when now they're in a position that they is a strong HR position, let's say, or a strong position that they love, versus being in an entry level job or working in an area that is not their interest, but it pays them minimum wage. I really like to see people come in and get good jobs, that what they're looking for right away, getting a decent wage,
Yeah,
getting good benefits right away.
yeah, definitely. Mentorship does help. Yes. Okay, so my next question to you is: many newcomers hesitate to take on volunteer work and also some kind of internships because they want a real job right away. So, what are the benefits of actually engaging in these opportunities, and how can they find them?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you saying that very much because, again, from my experience working with international students, some have said volunteering is not a big deal in their country of origin. It's not really a thing. It's not really, doesn't really hold value. And yet here in Canada, it holds a lot of value because it says to the hiring manager that this person is concerned about the community, has community interests, has how would I say, is well grounded. And so they really look for those, they see volunteers as leaders, upcoming leaders, someone they want to have on their work team. And so my thought is go and look for even volunteer opportunities in the city that you're going to live in. And so, in the community that I am in, which is in Prince George, BC, so northern Canada, when I type that in, there are volunteer Prince George pops up, and it shows many, many different opportunities for volunteering in all different areas. And if none of them quite fit, because for an example, there's not many human resources opportunities, it can even be going to an organization that interests the person and saying, "Hey, can I help out with some of your HR work that you don't have time to do? You're still volunteering, you're still learning." It looks excellent on the resume, and employers really, really appreciate it, and that resume goes higher on the list than someone who has not volunteered.
That's interesting as well. So, do you think that an HR person can go and volunteer for a different role that's not really relevant to in the HR field? Does that really count as the Canadian experience?
It really counts for showing initiative, and it
Hmm.
counts for leadership, self leadership, leadership of others. So while it may not hit an HR competency, it's going to hit an overall competency of what someone is looking for in their organization.
Yeah, I love that perspective. So I've seen so many people land great roles just by gaining local experience through volunteering, and it's fantastic way to also get your foot in the door. So yeah, I have my next question to you. So imagine a newcomer walks in into their first Canadian workplace. So what are the biggest cultural differences they should be prepared for?
So, very interesting, very good question.
Yeah.
If a person is coming in as a new worker and they come from a collectivist culture, and here we come into Canada, which is a strong individualistic culture, even that can be a bit of a it can be a bit of a surprise, where
Okay.
individual team effort is really rewarded. And we talk about team effort, and yet individual effort is still very highly sought. And so it can be coming in and observing and learning, even asking for a mentor in that organization to kind of get, how do we say, one's feet under them so that they understand the cultural differences, things that can be such a surprise that are not expected. Trying to think of an example, but you may be able to share a thought or a question, because there can be lots, even in the way phone calls are handled or what is considered to be okay. Even things in a job interview, if a new employee comes in and they're going to be interviewing other employees in Canada, it's not okay to ask about even age or marital status, or if a person's going to have a baby, or how many children they have. That is not permitted, and yet it may be totally fine in a person's country of origin. So checking on things like that, and again, accessing a mentor will be very valuable.
Okay, that's wonderful. Is there any resources available online where people can get to know more about Canadian workplace culture, or is there a book that you recommend?
Yes. So there are many, many.
Okay.
Definitely the Canada.ca site has some.
Mhm.
They have a lot. The challenge with that site is it's very, very big. So trying to find the right answers. There are some segments in there about information for newcomers to Canada.
Mm.
Another resource would be checking in. Provincial government and federal government are useful for that too, actually going into those offices and asking, as well as checking online, as well as an organization such as CPHR. Definitely lots of information for newcomers as well, which is really valuable. So finding the credible sources is the important piece.
Yes, yes, CPHR does provide a lot of resources on their platform. So, Renata, you also did mention about a lot of examples while when it comes to cultural differences. So, one thing that really pops out of my mind is the interview pattern and the time duration that's taken to kind of close a position. So, can you throw a little, light about interview process and what is the duration basically? Is it compared to India very slow? I mean, does the position go on, interview process go on for like about months together, or how is it?
And what would you say, if you're able to, in a general sense, of how long the process is in India, for example?
So if it's in an industry with a fast-paced environment, you will see position getting closed in within weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And so it depends here on the organization. I
Mhm.
worked for the federal government for 18 years altogether, and I found that they had a difficult time with swiftness or quickness. They tended to be more slow. But I
Okay.
know they've been trying to improve, the same with the provincial government. Other employers will tend to be move more quickly,
Okay.
and so it could be weeks, it could be months. Ideally, it's weeks so that
Okay.
a person gets some type of an email or notification and that they have passed the process and the screening with the resume, and then they get invited in for an interview. Or maybe they're invited in to do some type of a test first. Maybe it's a
Okay.
written test about knowledge or about the particular topic of
Okay.
that selection process. And then in the interview, it may be that our North American society hurries too much. That could be a topic for another day. When candidates are given answers, try and fit it in that 1.5 to 2 minutes and
Okay.
actually time it. And another great practice that sets apart candidates from to really be a more successful candidate is to use the STAR method when they are
Mm.
answering their questions, because employers will tend to give situational questions, what would you do if, or then behavioral questions, what did you do in this past event, or tell us
Mm.
about a time when you did this thing. So using the STAR method is situation, task, action, and result. And being able to say that in 1.5 to 2 minutes is very ideal. And being able to say the result is also incredibly valuable. What percentage did you increase, make things better? What percentage did you decrease problems? Whether in, so for
Yeah.
sales, it's a very easy example, isn't it? There
Yes.
was this situation, an unhappy customer, and these are the tasks that the person had to do. This was the actions they took, and the results were the
Mm.
customer was happy, or the revenue increased by this amount, or the theft decreased by this amount. Any of that is very valuable, and an employer sees that as very positive type of answer.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for your insights, Renata. I think this is going to be wonderful insights for the people who are going to listen to the podcast. So, coming to my next question, the language barriers, which can be major hurdle in career progressions. So, how can a newcomer overcome this, and what resources are available to help improve professional communication skills?
Yes. So, yes, my first thought on that one was practice, practice, practice. So, as much English speaking as possible, or French speaking if it is a French speaking position. And then once again, asking mentors for help. How to improve those communication skills, whether they are verbal or written. There are a number of resources that are free, which is valuable. And I would start with the mentor, that whether it's in CPHR or in the within the employment relationship. I would also go to the public library and say what resources are available, and they will have a whole list of things that are either low cost or free. And
Okay.
there are also a whole number of online courses that are free at the library as well. They're actually
Mhm.
called Gale courses, which is GALE, and they
Okay.
provide little 6 week mini courses on all kinds of topics. Very valuable, and they're led by an instructor, and it is online, and a person sends in um, assignments to the instructors. They don't actually ever meet online. So, very valuable to help people to get to that better language state. for anyone. I really believe all of us can improve in our written and verbal
Mhm.
communication skills, no matter where our country of origin happens to be.
Definitely, yes. That's true. Totally true. So, Renata, now let's get into coaching itself. What if every newcomer to Canada had access to a career coach from day one? And how do you think their job search and integration process would change?
Yeah. I used to think that coaching was either for the most senior executive, only the CEO, or
Oh,
maybe for people who played soccer or hockey. That's what I understood about a coach. That was it, right?
right.
And then
Yes.
as I came to learn about, oh, leadership coaching, okay, it has been so valuable for all of my clients. And I have on my website, I have a couple of kind of testimonials about how they have been helped, how to get the job they want. So, not the
Mm,
job in the fast food restaurant, which is okay, but it certainly doesn't have the wage that a person would like to have, right? So to get that job in their field that they're looking for, and then to feel confident and successful in it, and also confident and successful in the interview process, and also answering those questions inside that maybe are, we can say, sabotaging them. Let's say that inner critical voice that comes in and that
yeah.
messes with us when we don't want it to, that a person's not doing a good enough job, or they won't, they're not good enough, whatever their particular challenge is. We work on that to overcome it, and now there's a greater sense of confidence and even joy. And yes, an employer definitely wants to have someone work for them who has that confidence. It could
Hmm.
be quiet confidence, sense of joy, sense of
Yeah.
having a good attitude about working at that place makes a huge difference in being able to get not only the job, but then the promotions as well.
Yeah. I
I,
love
yeah.
that.
I
Yeah.
want to say it will increase the effectiveness 50%, 75%, sometimes more.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
it's wonderful. So I've personally seen how the right guidance can accelerate success. So many people think coaching is just about job search, or also, but it can also be about mindset, confidence, like you said, it's long-term career growth, and so many other things. So, what's one misconception about coaching that you would like to debunk?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
That coaches will tell their clients what to do.
Okay.
Mentoring is a bit more about that. Someone with more experience will help someone with less experience to kind of what path to go. Coaching is about finding the inner wisdom of the client. And that can be surprising. Perhaps the client is not sure what direction to go. And so it is bringing that up and out in a way that is the very best outcome for the client, not whatever the coach thinks. So it's very different. It's very much about bringing up those desires of the heart, the
Okay.
desires of the career that are really deep inside, the deeper meaning, and it really creates value for that person at that time with coaching, and then also in their future as they move forward, even with their relationships with their colleagues at work, as well as in their personal relationships at home with family, children, etc. It's amazing how wide a spectrum the coaching benefits, to what degree it benefits.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, that was interesting to know. Thank you for sharing, Renata. So we are now moving to a quick rapid fire round. This is just to get to know you better. So are you ready?
Let's
Okay.
go.
So yeah, you got to choose one and let me know your thoughts on the same. So are you an early bird or a night owl?
I would like to be an early bird, but I tend to be a night owl. That's the truth.
Okay, okay, that's nice. So next one is coffee or tea?
Yes. See, I'm an HR advisor, a consultant. We try and see all the sides of the picture. So I have to say both. How's that? But coffee wins out a bit more.
Okay, that should be fine. So, okay, my next question is beach vacation or mountain getaway?
Growing up in Canada, love the mountains and the mountain
Of course.
vistas very much.
Yeah. So, don't you miss beach?
See, alas, for me, I'm a northerner, so I like a little bit cooler. And if it's too
Okay.
hot, then I don't like it.
Okay, got that.
Fussy, hey?
Yeah. Okay. So, my next one is books or podcast?
I'm learning to develop a joy with podcasts. I started out with books. I'm kind of transitioning.
Oh, that's lovely. And dine out or cook at home?
Oh, if I had my way, I'd dine out many, many times.
Okay, wonderful. Sweet or savory?
Oh dear, sweet chocolate.
Chocolate. Okay, wonderful. Thanks for all your answers. So, my next question is suppose you get a LinkedIn message from a recruiter for a dream job that you have been looking for a long, long time, but then you're not actively looking out at the right at this moment. So, do you respond?
In this culture within Canada, I would say
Mhm.
yes. So, yes, respond. Also, be careful if the job is too much of a dream job, and to ensure that it's viable, it's actually truth. However, it's always interesting to have the conversation. And it may be sometime in the future that you think, yes, you want to do that, you want to go into that role, or maybe then you discover, yeah, you'd like to do that now, as long as the job checks out.
Okay, okay. That's wonderful. I have one interesting question. Fact or a myth? So, only extroverts succeed at networking. What are your thoughts?
I am an introvert. Some of
Okay.
my clients are introverts and they find it hard to network. And yet, it's as though for that time, we are going to go on the acting stage and we are going to act and we're going to be joyful doing it. And most introverts like people. And so, absolutely, they can do a good job with networking. And at the end of the networking time, whether that's live, in person, online, then go and rest and take it easy so that the person can sort of calm down from all that excitement. But definitely be an introvert and also network. Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And my next question again is if you had to switch to an entirely different career today, what would you choose and why?
Yes, what an
If at
interesting
all you would
question.
choose any.
Yes. So, coach is different than mentor, and coach is different than counselor. The word that came into my mind was counselor because here there's much accreditation with that, and again, it comes for me to that deeper meaning of being able to help people come to their best, to be their best, and overcome their challenges. So that would be it if I really was going to totally switch. Although I love what I'm doing very much now.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah, that's wonderful. So this has been an incredible conversation with you, Renata. Before we wrap up, what's next for you? I mean, any exciting projects or goals for the future?
Yes, yes. I love coaching individuals and including newcomers to Canada and helping them to reach again to be their best selves. So my next project that I'm working with
Hmm.
is having teams do the same thing. So a team
Okay.
in an organization, whether it's 5 people or 20 people, because
Hmm.
many times when we're communicating, we kind of don't see eye to eye, and now there's people that have conflict and conflict management and so on. With the positive intelligence program, which is one of the programs that I really am a great fan of for its quality, it takes teams and works with them to get that common language and helps them even to work well in the workplace and also to be much more effective at home with their kids, with their spouses, with their parents, as the case may be. And it is actually a year-long wraparound program that gives amazing benefits. I look forward to this as a project in the coming year.
Yes, wonderful. That's wonderful, and congratulations on that. So, Renata, if someone is listening and wants to connect with you and learn more about your coaching and even work with you, where can they find you?
Yes. So my site is rhammondconsulting.ca, and that is there's a section on there about contact me, and that connects to a calendar invite. It's about a 45-minute opportunity to speak and see if there's a good fit, and that's free because to me it's important to be able to give as much as possible to the community and be able to even help and volunteer sometimes for some really worthy causes, etc. So I take that both meeting and talking in person, having a free pre-session, see how the fit goes, and working that in as well with volunteering. So very much a chance to have a easygoing low-key conversation that feels very safe.
It's wonderful, amazing, Renata. Thank you so much. And to everyone listening, if you found this episode valuable, share it with someone who might need this advice. And don't forget to follow and share with your network. And for more career insights, you can get in touch with Renata. Renata, again, thank you for your time and wisdom. And to all our listeners, until next time, keep growing and keep thriving. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.